Hey y'all, my name is Christian. I'm a millennial, and this is the Millennial Mind. Millennials get a bad rap for being lazy, non-productive members of society. We also get told that our opinions are warped and don't matter. This podcast is designed to express a point of view on the world as a whole, but from a millennial's perspective. I will talk about love, current events, pretty much everything that comes to mind. Come join me on this journey on speaking my mind, and I would love for you to speak your mind as well. Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of the Millennial Mind. Thank you so much for listening, for taking time out of your day to listen to me talk. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to another journey on speaking my mind, and then hopefully you all will speak your mind as well. So I was trying to figure out what to talk on today or what the topic would be. And of course, there's like so much stuff going on in the news and just in pop culture that just got my juices flowing. So one thing that really kind of threw me for a loop is this whole issue that's going on with Tamar Braxton and Loni Love. Okay, if you don't know who these two people are, let me give you a brief summary. So, Tamar Braxton, she is a Grammy-nominated singer. She's also the baby sister of Toni Braxton, and she's a reality star. She was on the Braxton Family Values, or she's still on there. Not was, still on there. And then she was on Tamar and Vince, and she's no longer... Vincent Herbert was her husband, and she's no longer married to him. So that show is no longer showing. So I love Tamar Braxton. She's really sassy. She speaks her mind. I love her. Then there's Loni Love. Loni Love, she's a comedian. I actually didn't know anything about her until her most current gig, which is The Real. She's on The Real with Jeannie Mai, Tamara Housley, and Adrienne Bailon. So it's a daytime talk show in which all of the hosts are women of color, which is extraordinary to see. Other than that, I didn't know who Loni Love was. I didn't even know she was a comedian. That's all I know about Lonnie. So, like I was saying, Loni Love was on The Real, and Tamar Braxton at one point was on The Real a few years ago. And The Real, like I was saying, is an Emmy-winning daytime talk show. The hosts are women of color, and at the time, it was 5 of them. It was Tamar, Tamara, Jeannie, Lonnie, and Adrienne. And they were all talk about different topics, and they were all women of color. So it was really nice to see that. A few years ago, Tamar Braxton, she was actually kicked off The Real. There were a lot of rumors as to why she was kicked off. I was really surprised to see it because it was just all of a sudden, you see these headlines saying, Tamar Braxton fired from The Real. And I was like, wait, what? Why? Why was she kicked off? I thought that she brought an interesting flair to The Real. She was, she would pop her lips. She would say some crazy stuff, but I loved her. I think she was really entertaining. So I was really surprised when they kicked her off The Real. So there were a lot of rumors as to why she got kicked off. The main one being that the girls of the Real had something to do with it, specifically Loni Love. So there were rumors that were saying that Lonnie had wrote a letter to like the head honcho trying to get her fired. Lonnie has denied these allegations, but as I say, the truth usually comes out, so we'll find out sooner or later. So ever since Tamar got kicked off the Real, her and the other women on the Real have had beef. I believe that each side spoke about it publicly as far as their thoughts on the matter. The women of the Real were saying that they didn't do anything. Tamar, on the other hand, was saying that they did do something. I was getting whiplash, looking from side to side, trying to figure out who was telling the truth. I didn't know. So each side spoke about it publicly, and then after a while, it kind of died down. Now, most recently, if you've been watching Braxton Family Values, and I watch it all the time because I love reality TV, even though it's not really reality, it's kind of staged. Don't judge me. I still love it. So if you watch Braxton Family Values, there is an episode in which Tamar and her family had a therapy session with Iyanla Van Zant, and Tamar, she just went on an apology spree. So she apologized to her sisters. She apologized to, I want to say she apologized to Iyanla because at one point she went off on her. She just started apologizing, and she even, that apology spree kind of spread out to the ladies of the Real. So she went on Instagram to apologize to the ladies of the Real. It was like a post saying that she was sorry for all the problems that she caused, and then that post was deleted. I don't know why it was deleted, but that's neither here nor there. So Lonnie, and this was during the summer that Tamar Braxton went on this apology spree and posted this apology on Instagram. So Lonnie caught wind of this apology on Instagram before Tamar took it down. And so Lonnie, she invited Tamar on the show. She was like, okay, let's bury this hatchet. I see that you apologized. Let's come together on TV, on national TV, and let's just, apologize so that the public can see and so that we can move on. Tamar said no, and she said, I'm not going to be used as no marketing tool. And she posted a video on Instagram of two women commenting on Lonnie's kind gesture, basically stating that she was wrong for what she did. Now, I'm not going to say the words that they used because it was very colorful and very dramatic, but overall what they were saying was that Loni Love was wrong for trying to invite Tamar Braxton on the Real to do this public apology. So, of course, Lonnie, she had commented on the post. Yeah, it just started getting juicier and juicier. Lonnie commented on the post and and basically told Tamar, we're adults. Any issues you have with me, why don't you come say them to my face? And now, if you try to go on Instagram to find these posts, I believe all these posts has been deleted, and that's kind of where it left off. So it got me thinking about women, and you know what? Before I get there, you probably want to know what my thoughts about the Tamar and Loni Love situation is. I think they were both wrong. Lonnie shouldn't have made a public gesture like that because it didn't seem genuine, and it seemed like a marketing tool. Because of course, if Tamar came on the Real, if I saw as a promo that Tamar was coming on the reel, I would like skip work for it to watch it. Not really. I wouldn't have, but that's something that I had to see, or I would have to see. Like, okay, what is she gonna say? What questions are they gonna ask her? What is she gonna say about her whole firing? I mean, that would be like a huge rating show for the Real. I mean, it would be huge because everybody would want to know what everybody is gonna say. So with Lonnie, saying like, oh, let's bury this hatchet publicly, it just really sounded ingenuine. I think the apology should have been done in private. So if Tamar wanted to apologize and Lonnie, wanted to be accepting of that apology, they could have texted each other or DM'd each other or reached out to their managers or whatever and say, hey, let's meet up and we'll just do this privately. Skip whatever the public says, as long as we know that we're good, then that's okay. But she didn't do that. And you know what? I shouldn't say that she didn't do that. We just don't know if she's done that or not. I think that Tamar was wrong too, because instead of going about her business like a grown woman, she went on an Instagram rant. And Tamar, for everyone who knows Tamar, she has a mouth. She has a mouth. Sometimes it could be a good thing and sometimes it could be a bad thing. So instead of going about her business saying, okay, skip what Lonnie has to say, I don't even have to respond to that because I got better stuff to do and better stuff to think about, she went on a rant about it and of course just expressing her feelings about the matter. Like, if it's not that important, I'd say why talk about it and give it, any attention. If it's not important to you or you think it's ingenuine, why talk about it? It just makes it worse. And then, of course, the person that you despise, they're following you, so they're seeing all you're putting out. So it's just an ongoing cycle of like bickering. And like Tamar says, ain't nobody got time for that. Nobody got time for that. So she went on a whole Instagram rant, and it just got my mind thinking about women and how women can really berate each other and really cause each other to be down. And are the source of confidence issues. So before I get into that, I want to allow you to hear a word from the entity that is sponsoring this podcast. It's Anchor. Anchor is wonderful, it's free to use, and I'll just let the ad do the talking. This podcast is sponsored by Anchor. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. It gives you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. Creation tools allow you to record and edit your podcast so it sounds great. They'll distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere, even on platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can easily make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Download the Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started. Once again, you can download the Anchor app, that's ANCHOR, or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thank you, Anchor, for sponsoring this podcast. I really appreciate it. And If you would like to start your own podcast, please download the Anchor app, and it will be really helpful in starting your journey of podcasting. So, getting back to this whole Tamar versus Lonnie, woman versus woman issue. So, this whole Tamar versus Lonnie issue got me thinking about women as a whole and how we are so quick to tear each other down and not lift each other up. It almost seems like we're in competition with each other. Like, okay, who can be the best woman? Who can be the prettiest woman? Who can be the smartest woman? Who can be the woman with the best body? It's like we're competing against each other 24/7, and it's just sad to see. I think that this competition comes in two ways. One, comparing ourselves to another woman in which we think we're the superior. And two, comparing ourselves to another woman in which we think we're the inferior. So let me kind of explain what I mean by that. So as far as the first form of competition in which we think we're the superior when comparing ourselves to another woman, we may say, she ain't all that, she fat, or she ain't all that, her fingernail polish on her pinky toe is chipped. So we try to find like a little thing on the woman that may be a flaw that will make ourselves feel better about ourselves and feel like we're dominant as far as being the better woman. The second form of competition is in which when we compare ourselves to another woman, we think that we're inferior. So this could be us thinking, oh, I'm not as pretty as his ex. She's beautiful. She has a banging body. She looks like she has it all together. What does he see in me? And this usually comes along with social media, I see, and I'm guilty of this too. You stalk different women, looking to see, what they're like and looking at how they look. They may be really pretty, may have a gorgeous body. It seems like they have it all together. They going on vacations like every month, and I'm thinking like, where are they getting this money from? Because I am on the struggle bus trying to get some money. I'm like, somebody help me pay a bill, please. Help me pay one bill. That's all I need. So I'm trying to figure out how these people are going on vacation, but that's the downside of social media. With social media, people show themselves in the best light. They don't show the struggles. They don't show that they got fired from their job, or that their kids are acting up in school, or that their marriage or their relationship is on the rocks. They're always showing the good parts. So it's strange that us as a society, or really, and I'll just narrow it down to women, us as women, we compare ourselves to other women that are only showing us the good side of themselves. They're not even showing the worst part of themselves. So it's not a true depiction as far as who they are. So, in moving forward, after I kind of thought about, these two different forms of competition, I kind of questioned, like, where does this competition come from? Where does this cognition of us trying to compete with other women, what does it stem from? And the main premise that I came to is insecurity. In essence, our insecurity causes us to compete with other women who may be having insecurities as well, if not the same ones. And I've come to realize all women have some kind of insecurity about themselves, that there's something about them that they don't like or they wish they could change. So there's really not a woman in this world that don't have a flaw that they don't recognize or that they don't wish to change. So just competing with someone who has insecurity themselves is just kind of fruitless because we all have insecurities. Because of this insecurity that causes us to compete with other women, it produces an ongoing cycle of women tearing other women down at a time when we're supposed to unite. So I don't know why we as women feel like us tearing each other down would give us some kind of satisfaction. It really doesn't. You know, the it just it makes you seem really insecure for one, and then you're making you could possibly make someone else feel insecure as well because of what you're saying or these comparisons that you're doing. So it's not good at all. So we really should be united because there's so much stuff that we can do in this world if women united as a whole. There are so many things that women are fighting against, such as discrimination in the workplace, not being paid half as much as a man, and even sexual harassment. That the last thing that we should be fighting against is each other. We like just the fact of us being a minority should be a source of us bonding together as one to do good in society. Tearing each other down is just going to make matters worse. And then we're just going to be producing kids who's going to be doing the same thing. So let's try to come together and uplift each other instead of tearing each other down. So how can we combat this woman versus woman syndrome? I came up with about 4 ways that we can do that. One, and I think this is the most important, gain confidence in yourself. And I know that's easier said than done. But when you gain confidence in yourself, you're not worrying about what other people are doing because you're focused on your own priorities. Your own priorities are the priorities in your life, if that makes sense. So confidence in yourself not only allows you to see the beauty in yourself, but it extends to others as well. Confidence is exuded from the inside out, not the other way around. So when you're confident in yourself, other people can see it. Other people can see it. Other people can feel it. And when you're confident, that spirit sometimes can transfer to other women or can inspire other women to be confident as well. And beauty and confidence is not from the outside in. So never, if your beauty and your confidence is based on outside, then we got an issue. Because the outside will only last for so long. I love seeing a woman who has not just, the natural beauty, but just inside beauty as well. A woman that I can think about that we all know of that I think exudes this perfectly is Beyonce. I love Beyonce, just in case you don't know. I stan Beyonce. Like anything with Beyonce, I love it. Beyonce is like, one of the greatest entertainers of all time. She's beautiful, she's smart, she's business savvy. But I think what really makes her beautiful and attractive is just her heart on the inside. Like, I don't know her. I wish I did. I don't know her, but I think when I hear her talk on interviews, what interviews she does give or does participate in, I can see what she's talking about. She's really coming from the heart, and what she does for other people, her philanthropy, is coming from the heart. And that's what makes her outside even more beautiful, is because she has such a beautiful inside. So so beauty always comes from the inside. Confidence always comes from the inside. Your basis and your foundation for beauty and confidence should never come from the outside, because that's going to be short term. That is definitely going to be short term. Another way that we can combat this woman versus woman syndrome is compliment another woman. And I'm trying to do better at that. So even just small stuff, just saying, like I was somewhere today, and I saw this girl. She had on some cute shoes, and I liked it. So I told her, I was like, "Ooh, I really like your shoes." And her face lit up, and she was like, "Oh, thank you." Simple things like that can make a woman feel better about themselves and kind of improve their day. So I'm trying to do this at least daily, at least for one woman daily. Just compliment them, like whether you like their hair, whether you think they're smart, or whether you think they're pretty, anything. Just that one compliment, you'd be surprised what one compliment can do for a person, and especially a woman. The third way that I came up with to combat this woman versus woman syndrome is to not be messy. And what I mean by messy is just, full of trouble. You talk about people, you start trouble, you're in trouble, you're never out of trouble. You just trouble from the beginning to the end. You're just, you're just not a pleasant person to be around. And I've been hearing a lot of women say that there are so many women who, or I've heard that there are so many women who don't like having women as friends because they're catty and messy. Like, that's a bad testimony for women. Like, why are we so messy? Why are we so catty? Why? There's no reason to be. I never understood it. And I'm not saying that men can't be like that too, because I've heard some stories where men can be catty too. But the majority of the time, you hear it mostly when it's referring to women. Women, they just act messy. They, can't keep a friend, can't keep good relationships because they don't know how to do that. And it could stem, like the foundation of that could be insecurity as well. And the last way that I came up with is to teach young girls the aforementioned points that I pointed out. So not only should we be implementing these points in our own lives, but we should also be sharing that knowledge to the next generation, so that we can continue the cycle of having healthy women relationships, and teaching our girls, like, yeah, it's, you can have a friend who's a woman that will be a long time friendship, or you could get along with a woman and then not be catty or messy. So yes, let's not just keep that knowledge to ourselves. Let's share it with the next generation, so it can be an ongoing epidemic, I'll say, so that it could touch more lives than just what we're seeing. Even after we're long gone, our teachings and our knowledge will be shared to other women. Well, that's it. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. If you know of some other ways that we can use to combat this woman versus woman syndrome, make sure you email me at mindofmillennials@gmail.com. That's mindofmillennials@gmail.com. Let me know if there's some other ways that you think we can combat this syndrome. Even if you may agree or disagree with my list, let me know. I would be happy to listen to your opinion. I am open to other ways of thinking and others' opinions. Also, make sure to follow the Facebook page that I created for this podcast. You can go to Facebook and put in The Millennial Mind, and the page should pop up. If you have any comments on the podcast episodes or anything in general, this is the place to put those comments. Lastly, make sure to follow me on Anchor, Spotify, and Pocket Casts. So when I say follow me, follow the podcast. I'm trying to get on Apple Podcasts as well, so pray for me. I want to leave you all with a quote. I'm trying to make sure I do that each and every episode, and here it is. I am not free while any woman is unfree, even when her shackles are very different from my own. Thank you again for listening, and I look forward to seeing you all next week.